Welcome to Rules of Villainy episode 75, where 3 new trading card game players quest and challenge their way to the competitive top tables and discuss their opinions on Disney's Lorcana. This evening, we'll be reporting on the hottest news in Lorcana, answering your questions, and discussing the latest developments in the metagame. I'm Bill and Vince, joined as always by my 2 co-hosts, Villainy Andy and the mayor himself, Brad. And no, I wasn't about to say it. I see it in the show notes. I see it. I see what you try to do. Try to tricky.
I'll get you one day. I'll get you one day. What's up, guys?
What is up, my guys?
I feel like Brad knew he could get Vince to do that.
I planted that seed about 20 minutes ago. We were just talking. I'm like, yeah, that's. So you guys don't know. There's mind games being played here. Another level.
You know what I'm excited about though tonight? I mean, we'll see whether or not I score them, but DLC tickets for Melbourne go on sale in an hour from now from me. If you're already listening to this, it's probably sold out. I'm sorry, but I'm going to try to get tickets tonight. We're going to see what happens.
Right.
Anything else going on tonight?
No, not really. Just a calm night. We did some testing yesterday on Deck Test Tuesday, and we've got League tomorrow. I think it's going to be Infinity, which would be pretty cool. And then I actually got a 4-day weekend this weekend, so we're going to do a lot of testing, maybe a little winter cleaning around the house, but pretty calm. It'll be pretty cool.
Nice.
You know what we should be doing this weekend is going to your Infinity event.
Oh, I'll be doing that too. I just meant like in the extra time that I got off, you know?
Yeah.
Well,
it'll be fun.
Well, speaking of Infinity, let's get into Underworld news. You want to take it, Brad?
I do. Yeah. I'm excited because this weekend, as you're listening to this, it is Infinity Weekend, the first one that have been hosted here. A special event by Ravensburger. All the local game stores should have gotten, or all the OP stores should have gotten a kit to have this awesome event for these whole new world promos that we're giving away. The foil. Don't you dare close your eyes. Close your ears, though, because Vince is singing. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
I just was in it. I had
Call a doctor.
You got it.
But no, these whole new world promos, the foil versions went out to Worlds, and this is like a special Infinity only event where they're giving away 40 of those to the first 40 people to participate. And any extras we talked about last week, I think go toward the OP kit for the future set winter spell. But definitely check it out. You don't want to miss them out. The card is beautiful. I can't wait to get one. And you should be able to check the Ravensburger Play Hub and see your local stores. They should have them all scheduled by now. And hopefully they got some good pricing for you guys to win as well.
Let's go. I'm so excited.
What's up, villains? It's Villainous Kirsten here, just bringing you a little bit of extra news this week. So, we've got some fabulous holiday news. We will be doing our Christmas special again, but we're doing it live this year. We've got tons of games lined up for you guys. It'll be so much fun. It'll be interactive, so you guys can play along with us in the live chat. We also have a special guest coming on. We've got Enchanted Kim, but we also have Mrs. Mayor making her second appearance this year. And we have a ton of giveaways that we'll be doing also. That's already up on YouTube. Make sure you hit that bell. Make sure you get notified whenever that comes up, and we'll see you there. We also have some other exciting news. The CCQ in Arizona for Top Cut Games was just announced. That'll be January 17th and 18th. The tickets go on sale December 13th, so make sure you get those before they sell out. But Rules of Villainy is actually collabing with them for this. Hooray! We are super excited. It'll be so much fun, so stay tuned for more details, and we will see you there.
CCS is this past weekend. We want to give a great shout out to Britt, ROV team member, who I believe came runner-up. Is it in the women's side event? And then Ron, who had an amazing run in the main event, just got a little unlucky there. So, and then also congrats to Zan Syed, who took down the tournament as well, which we'll talk a little bit more about that. And I'll pass it off to you, Andy.
Yes, and the 25 Days of Villainy Advent Calendar Countdown video series playlist working title on YouTube is continuing now. We are going into day 11 tomorrow. This by the time you hear this, maybe day 13. Ooh, spooky. But
wait, spooky.
yeah, it's 13. It's like unlucky, right? Ooh.
Oh, okay. All right. I see. I see.
Such
I see what
scare
you're
when you
doing.
said that. Oh my god.
But yeah, it's a short 1 minute video we put out every day where Kirsten and I both spin a wheel and open a pack from our large collection that we've gathered, and we share the pulls with you guys. It's a lot of fun. We haven't hit anything crazy good yet, but we have had a couple of interesting fun packs, if you will. We had a Gargoyles pack a couple days ago. We had a Stitch pack a couple days before that. So there's a lot of fun stuff there. Definitely check it out. We'd really appreciate
people
subscribe,
we had
follow.
people commenting me like, I didn't even know Gargoyles cards existed. I was like, yeah, man, there's cards for everything. But those were exciting to see.
Yeah, we're getting some decent viewership on the TikTok. The TikTok.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
Nice.
not
Nice.
anymore when you called it that.
all right. Well, thanks, Brad. I appreciate it.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. I'm
He's
not going
so
to pick on you
mean.
all night. I don't know why.
You see
I
how
don't know
mean he is, folks? This is what I deal with
Weird
all the
night.
time from Brad.
I woke up from my nap and I think I just chose.
You chose violence.
Yeah.
You chose violence. But speaking of violence, let's take it over to you, to the constituents corner.
There is a question here that might provoke some violence. We'll see. But let's start with the one from Luke asking about, will you guys play Emerald Ruby decks at League during Christmas week? Oh, come on. They're festive.
At League during Christmas week. You're right. Okay. I didn't listen to the rest of the question. I should have considered it all. No.
I knew
question.
that. I knew he was going to do that. There's some fun Christmas decks out there.
If there was a store that decided, or like a league decided they wanted to all do Ruby Emerald decks one day for like a Christmas week, then I would be on board with that. I'm always on board with fun, limited modes, if you will, with the constraints. But just for the fun of it, no, to get, eaten alive by a bunch of Amethyst Steel or Monstro combo decks. I don't know. I don't know if I'm on board with that.
Foreshadowing.
I feel like I don't need to answer this, Lucas. You know that I will play anything like that. I am interested in some Powerline stuff there, Powerline Max Goof stuff that could be a lot of fun. I don't need it to be Christmas week to try that out, but like Andy said, if we're doing any kind of fun stuff during the next couple of weeks, sure, I'll throw that together. What about you, Vince?
Yeah, likewise. If it was for something fun, I would do it. I think, Lorcana at the end of the day is meant to be fun.
One of my favorite cards in the game, and I've built around, was that Queen of Hearts, that shift Queen of Hearts at 2/5 that puts damage on everything that's played after she comes out. I think she's a lot of fun. So I have experience in the Ruby Emerald field, but as Andy said, it doesn't really hold up against the big dogs most of the time. So
I also, since Ruby Emerald was mentioned, I can't not give a shout out to John from Wild Growth Games, who is a Ruby Emerald aficionado. So if I was to play in a Christmas themed tournament of some sorts, it would be him that I went to for advice and guidance. He sent me several
next
lists.
question.
Pretty good.
All right, this next one's from Paul. He is asking, each week you claim you are making your way to the competitive top tables. When you achieve your goals, if you are offered a spot on a sponsored team, do you accept it? And does that mean you leave Team ROV?
So I'm just going to answer for all of us. We've signed. We've committed. This is like this is not quite a marriage. It's not quite a throuple, but I mean, it might as well be here. So it's all signed on the dotted line, and we're stuck with each other. So no, it's RV to the end of the world. And now Andy's going to come in and be like, however.
Everyone has no price, is all I'm saying. If there's enough zeros at the end of that check, then, I'm kidding. I'm joking.
No, I'm
joking.
I think I've made my position pretty clear. I can play competitively. I don't think I'll ever put in the time or be competitive enough to be considered at that level. But everything that I do here and around the community is what, fills me in the sphere of this game. So there's no chance that I'm ever leaving here in any capacity. I know Andy's gonna say there's a price. I'm more I'm more attuned to just, building the community. I'm a community builder is what I've become more so than a deck builder, and I think that's where I want to continue to.
I think
where I'll always be at with this game.
I think there's a world where I think for me it's everyone together, right? The whole team. I think there's a point in time where instead of leaving to sign a sponsorship, I could see the team taking on a sponsor, right? We're not going to leave to go be on another team, but if we become the Microsoft rules of villainy or something like that, the hostess rules of villainy, or like some sort of like big sponsor, I would certainly get a patch put on the jerseys or something. Red Bull, yeah, Red Bull. We could all become Red Bull athletes. So Red Bull, if you're looking to sponsor a Lorcana team, we have some of the best players in the St. Louis area for sure.
Before somebody corrects me in the comments, I realize the zebra cakes are Little Debbie and not Hostess, so want to get that out there.
But man, there's the Christmas trees. I was at Target and I saw them and I had to buy them. Every time I see them, I buy them. Like I
make an incredible festive dip with those Christmas trees, and
that's what you said in the Discord.
Yeah, I'll have to make it for some event or something in the weeks to come. But I saw it on like Facebook Reels last year or the year before. I'm like, that seems easy enough, and then I made like 3 batches of them, and everybody loved it. So excited to do that again.
Our Target has the like open, like right as you walk in, that like budget area. The whole entire wall is filled with the Christmas trees, and every time I have to resist the urge to take a cart and just run my hand along the entire row and empty them all into the cart, because that's what I want to do.
This might date me, but that reminds me of Supermarket Sweep, or it was, or no, not Supermarket. Well, that was a show, but there's
a game show.
Yeah, but wasn't there like a Toys R Us or something where kids could run through a store?
Oh yeah, the sweepstakes thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just imagining you doing that with a cart and all those zebra or Christmas cakes. But anyway. We got way far away from this.
Yeah, really. Okay. I'll bring us back to say that I 100% agree with Andy that, I think honestly, if we ever got to the top tables, and I'm kind of think more on Brad's end here, that I'm probably not going to be there anytime soon, but who knows? Put in the work, and I think, you can be rewarded. But is this to elevate this community here? We've got a growing community on Discord. We've got a growing, we're getting subscribers, which, by the way, if you haven't hit that like button and subscribe, you should do so right now, whether you're on video especially or audio. That all helps everywhere.
We need 1,000. 1,000. We're almost there.
1,000. We want to grow this because we've got great team members also on the Rules of Villainy team that we would like to support and do great things for the community too. So I think it would just go to further that.
Yeah.
And if anybody's got anything else, next question.
All right. Last one is Lucas again. He's asked, for Infinity Weekend, are you trying to figure out the best decks for the format, or are you just going to going back to your comfort decks from previous formats with some adjustments? What do you guys think?
So do we want to answer this, or do we want to move into the main segment and answer this?
We can segue into the main segment. We are going to start with Infinity there. I think that's a good segue there. Before we answer your question, Lucas, let's tell everybody else, if you like your questions answered here on the podcast, please feel free to comment below, ask us on the socials at Rules of Villainy, or join our Discord where we have a channel specifically for questions to be asked and sometimes develop into a discussion pre-podcast, so it's a lot of fun. Check that out. And let's talk about Infinity
and beyond.
And beyond.
I got my Toy Story gear. I'm more of a Woody guy than a Buzz. So I'm.
Do you write Andy at the bottom of your shoes?
Yeah, so I know that they're mine.
They're yours. Yeah.
Doesn't take them. I'm a Rex guy. Rex has always been my favorite in Toy Story.
Rex is a good one too.
Yeah, Rex is great.
I think it's like the third one or whatever. He's like on the computer. He's like, I do not have opposable thumbs.
Yeah, I like me and my friend Jake from back in the day. There's this one scene in Toy Story. It's not even revolving Rex, but I got to mention it now. Is that there's a shark that just pops out of the toy chest with Woody's hat on and goes, "Hi, I'm Woody. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Look,
I'm Woody. Howdy, howdy, howdy.
That's got to be in the game at some point.
Yeah.
I
Also, the
I don't know
voice
why
act-
we got to that moment, but
the voice
here.
actor who does Rex, Wallace
Shawn.
Shawn, yeah, which I had to look up because I didn't know, but I know him from.
You didn't know his voice?
No, I know his voice. I just didn't know his name off the top of my head, so I had to look it up. But I was just always reminded of hearing his voice in The Princess Bride.
Princess Bride. Yep. Yep.
Inconceivable.
So
but yeah, Infinity. What are you guys playing? We told everybody last week. I feel like I'm committed to Ruby Fossa because that's just a fun deck and I miss it. But I've got other things on my mind now. Yeah, what's that? I could add Simba to it. It'd be it could possibly.
So your answer is basically you're going back to your comfort deck from a previous format with maybe some adjustments.
With maybe that would be if I play that. But I talked to Dad Kana tonight, and he sent me something super spicy that I'm like, I think I might have to play that. I feel like we have to play a whole new world, like in this event. Like I don't care what you pair the steel with, like you got to put whole new world in there, right? Like
you have to play what?
Whole new world.
What?
I'm not singing. I'm not Vince.
Oh. I was trying to get you to sing
a whole new world. That was awful. See, that was terrible.
There you go.
Yeah. But yeah, I got some ideas there. I mean, I don't know. What are you playing, Andy?
So for me, I'm kind of back and forth between two different, like both of those. So like, I think the best deck in the format is probably Steel Song. It seems really, really, really strong.
Yep.
And it is also a lot of fun to play. The new Queen and Aurora are both really, really good additions to it. And then, I mean, you don't even play like the Thunderbolt. You don't even need that. Like Thunderbolt.
Just play Zeus.
Yeah. You have Zeus.
Yeah,
That's plenty enough.
Zeus back. Why do you need Diet Zeus when you got the whole variant Zeus right there? You've got regular
pure cane sugar Zeus.
Yeah, exactly.
But
like Diet Zeus is like the current Zeus is like new Coke.
Yeah,
when you can just have Coke.
But I think it also has whole new world in it too, so that's a strong argument for. But for me, I always really, really liked Ruby Sapphire. I like Hiram decks. I want to play a Hiram deck. I think Sapphire Steel is the most high rolly with like all the items and like something similar to what like Luke played at the big CCS, not CCS, Inc. Infinity event. Yeah. But you know, with maybe a few changes here and there, maybe try the Cinderella out. I like the Ruby Sapphire a little more. I want to play B prep. I want to B prep everyone.
Yeah.
I think there'll be plenty of aggro. I think there'll be plenty of discard and stuff. So Hiram items. But I don't know. It's still. I accidentally forgot to put Pirate's Life in the version I built when I tested yesterday for Deck Test Tuesday. So like Kirsten was gaining a lot of lore, and then I was like, man, a Pirate's Life would be really good right now. And then I was like, oh no, I don't think I put Pirate's Life in this deck. That's not good. Oh no.
And it's not like you can forget about that card too, because that's in rotation, but nobody's playing a Ruby deck that runs it right now.
Yeah, no, I saw some early Ruby Amethyst decks that were trying it out, but it has fallen out of that in favor of arguably being like a little bit more aggressive.
Well, nobody's like rushing. There's not many aggro decks out there that you need to like stop that extra lore gain from.
Right.
It's gonna be this weekend. I got the whole family coming to game night, and I know at least two of them is gonna be on Amber Amethyst aggro, so that's gonna be fun. Yeah. I'm speculating that they're going to be my boy Mikey and Izzy. I beat my butt with that all the time.
I mean, honestly, I would love to say I like, part of me wants to go back to the old Ruby Amethyst, and play it. But I don't know. I was been toying about that. I ended, when I played Infinity in Milwaukee, I played Ruby Sapphire. Another old deck that I've played as well. And so I think, like I said, I think there's be 3 decks I'm thinking about. So Ruby Amethyst, Ruby Sapphire, and maybe the Sapphire Steel kind of items variant. I really do. I miss my boy Hiram, my boy.
So is your Ruby Sapphire Shark version then?
Yeah.
All right, so no big Sisu or anything like that, really.
No big Sisu, yeah.
No ice block or coil or anything like that. Okay. Yeah. So I think the one thing that I did want to point out, he says, "Are you trying to figure out the best decks for the format?" One of the really, really hard obstacles I had when trying to think of this meta was that, one, there's very little data to go off of. So there haven't been any big Infinity events that anyone's really cared about at all leading up to this, because core has been so strong with Richmond coming up. So and all the other CCQs and DLCs that are out there. And then 2, like, you aren't playing with your local meta and all of your local players in playing Infinity for weeks and weeks to come, for lead up to it. Because, like a set champs, you kind of get the idea of, okay, well, I've been seeing Brad practice these 2 or 3 decks for the past 3 or 4 weeks. Chances are he's probably playing one of those. I know what these guys are on this week and what she's on, this set or whatever. But like with Infinity, there is none of that. So everyone's just kind of randomly be picking a deck and showing up. And like Brad said, maybe there's a few with their like old faithful that if Maggie shows up, she's going to be on Sapphire Steel for sure. We all know that.
What, Andy? Maggie could show up anywhere, and she's going to be on Sapphire Steel.
Fair, but this is if she shows up with Sapphire Steel in this tournament, that's when you need to be scared, right?
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Hiram, and so that, like I said, there's a few of those people, but it is very, very hard to get a read on the meta for Infinity, I think, like locally.
Whatever I can tell you I probably won't be playing for sure is Amber Steel. Not because I don't like it. I think it's a lot of fun to play, but I have always had the worst luck with that deck. Anytime I have ever tried to play it, everybody can beat me with that deck, but for some reason, when I play it, I can't get the cards to make that deck work. It does not like me. That deck knows I'm playing it, and it's like, well, I think you would rather have 4 docks in your hand right now rather than having them kind of spaced out.
You can play Steel Songs, no docks. Whole new world.
I'm just giving an example of it. It's like, or we'll see if I played the Whole New World version, I would get 4 Whole New Worlds in my deck. Yep.
Fair.
Yep, that's how that would work.
The other really hard part with Infinity, with deck building, is that there's just way too many good cards. So like I'm a fan of like putting, as I'm going through all the cards available for each, I go by cost. So I'm looking at 1-drops. I'll put 4 ofs in there, ones that like I'm 100% sure I want. And then I'll like click some 1-ofs to throw in there so that when I go back, I can see, maybe fill in some gaps, maybe adjust some numbers. Usually, somewhere from 55 to like 75 cards or so is where I'm at. And then I go and I subtract and I change and I adjust the numbers. Infinity, it's like 120 cards I've got in the list. And I'm like, oh my goodness, there's so many I want that are so good.
Just remember, you've got Vince too close.
Yeah.
You can play more cards. So there's no limit. But I agree. I think deck building is very, very challenging. And I think the data we have is hard to come by. But what I think is great about this particular event is I feel like this is a great introduction for most folks that haven't been able to attend these more competitive events, whether it be DLCs, CCQs, or some of these other, like Ink or CCS or these other events, where they have Infinity side events. This is like your introduction to be able to play. in this. And so you go, and the whole new world's like a participation and incentive to get you to go, so you can get that great card. You're not competing for it, so it's not like it's a set champ. So I feel like the barrier, the stress level for most players to go to this is a lot lower. This feels like very much like I'm gonna go, I'm gonna have fun, and it's like whatever additional pricing a store has, great. But I just I want to get the promo, and I want to play this fun game, and I get to play with cards that I haven't been able to really play with for a while. In the game, and so that's kind of how I view this. And I know, Andy, we were talking about this before we recorded, but like I do think you're probably right that we will see this turn, that Infinity will start to become the dominant format for the competitive scene once DLC Richmond has passed. And I don't know when the next EU DLC is, but basically once those are kind of passed, I think we're going to see. I know we do have DLCs elsewhere around the world, and I don't want to, beleaguer any fans that are going there. And I know a lot of competitors are going to go to those. But I was listening to Podcana, and one of the things I think they kind of made a point of is that Southeast Asia tends to do these non-traditional formats, like the best of one. Like that's not just a thing they do with Lorcana; it's a thing they do with a lot of TCGs. And so we even if they do change it a little bit, it's still probably going to be a format that's not going to be as relevant to the format that we see here in the United States or in Europe. And so, like I said, I think like Andy, you're spot on the fact that we're gonna see more locals work on Infinity. We heard that Ravensburger is going to Winterspell is supposed to be a big limited set, really focus on that. And then we've got
Wilds Unknown.
Wilds Unknown, thank you. Wilds Unknown.
To infinity and beyond, if you will.
Yeah, which I'm super stoked about. I mean, not that anybody who's a long time listener doesn't know that already. Ravensburger.
So
we definitely need a card for Wilds Unknown, please. Thank you.
Lorcana-spiracy theory here. Ravensburger is going to use data, whether it's another survey that they do or just, monitoring socials and things. Ravensburger is going to use data from this Infinity event, along with all the other Infinity information they've gotten from other sets. And I think we're going to see this influence bans for the Infinity format in the months to come after this event.
Well, honestly, it's a pretty good quest or challenge. I should have thought about this earlier. Do you think there will be bans before the next before the DLC in Indianapolis?
100%. There has to be. Yeah, I told them last night not last night, 2 nights ago at game night when we were talking about the fact that 2 sets come out before that event, is that there's going to be so many cards and there's going to be so many wacky combos. We've already seen a bunch of power creep here in Whispers in the Well that like there's combinations out there that they may not even be aware of yet that are going to be too powerful for the Infinity format.
Like Hiram and Popsicle.
Yeah.
What? Huh?
But
I agree.
I think after, like you said, after DLC Richmond, there's going to be that pivot then, and they start pushing Infinity when they start balancing Infinity, and that's everything that's happening behind the scenes now, in my opinion. But
I wouldn't be surprised if they run an Infinity set champs as well.
I was actually just about to bring that up that you'd said that, and I was like wondering, Brad, whether or not you think that they'll do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes a lot of sense as we move closer toward the Infinity DLC, that we have more sanctioned Infinity events. And like you said, I love the idea that the more data they get from us through whether it's just third parties submitting the deck lists or how many Infinity events are in the Ravensburger Play Hub, and seeing the interest and stuff like that. I think there's going to be a lot of data pulling and figuring out what direction to go with it, because right now everything's core, right? We don't have any Infinity here in St. Louis. As much as we try to get it to make it fire, it just it doesn't. So
do you know what could give them a lot of data?
What?
Online client.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Not wrong.
You're not
Just-
wrong about
Just saying.
not wrong about that. All right.
Anything else we want to talk about at Infinity, or should we talk a little bit about CCS?
No, I think we're good. Good luck at Infinity events this
Yeah,
weekend, boys. I'll see you at some of them, I'm sure. It'll be a lot of fun.
Heck yeah.
All right. So before we get into the decks, I just want to give a breakdown of the top 16. So I'm going to read through these decks really quick. We had, of the top 16 at CCS, we had 5 Amethyst Steel, the most decks that they had, 4 Emerald Sapphire, 3 Amber Emerald, 2 Emerald Amethyst, 1 Amber Amethyst, 1 Amethyst Sapphire. So out of the top 16, 12 had Amethyst in them.
And only one of them was Blurple, which is wild to me.
Yeah.
And Emerald was in 9 of them as well. So
yeah, Emerald did do.
Emerald is also a big show out.
Big contender. But we did have this fairly, I wouldn't say unique deck per se from Xian, because we've seen a variant of this before.
Before you do this, all right, we gave you those numbers. If you haven't seen the results from CCS, you get to play this game. Go ahead and write in the comments now which of those decks you think actually won the event. Okay, cool. Now that you wrote that in there, would you believe it was Amber Amethyst? No way. I wouldn't either.
No.
If you wrote Amber Amethyst, I know you Googled it. You cheated. I'm looking at you. You did it. Why? Why cheat? We wouldn't find out.
But yeah, so we've seen kind of a variant of this deck. Was it early on in Fabled, or when was it?
It was Set 8.
Reign of
Jafar.
Yeah.
Return of Jafar.
Stop it. It was Reign of Jafar. No, the deck essentially it had the same idea, but it centered around the Donald Duck, which Zan is only running one of here now because we have the
Great Illuminary.
That essentially just gives everything that ability always. Of course, it's a 1/3, so it doesn't stick around as long. Yeah. It's one of those things that you play later and do all the stuff. Like, you don't play it first because it just immediately goes away, but
just cheaper.
Yeah, it's absolutely wild. I didn't realize the duck because I never tried that deck before, and recently I've had a couple of those ducks in my Ruby Simba deck, but the Donald only does it on the turn he's played. I thought it was like whenever he's on board, so that was.
Thought it was a universal dummy.
Well, I never paid that much attention to it. You guys were playing with that deck. I didn't have the cards for it when it came out, and then that 8-cost inkable Donald Duck. I'm like, I'm never going to play this card. And then when I finally used it in one of my decks this past week, I was like, oh, this I get it now. But anyway, this is just a moment of me dumping on myself about.
It's kind of funny. I mean, aside from the Great Illuminary, I think it was Katie from the Lore Keepers Inn had posted on Twitter like a infographic explaining the combo, and she's like, "Would you believe that this happened? Like, this was like from like 6 months ago or something." I don't remember the exact like wording of it, but it was like she's talking about how like this combo just had come back. I guess a question I would pose to both of you is now that you see this deck, do you think this is a deck you'll see more people play and have success with?
Well, I mean,
I don't know about the latter, but definitely play it because it looks so much fun.
You don't win a CCQ and not have a bunch of people net deck you, right? Like that's gonna happen no matter what. Like, any deck that does good is gonna bring some credence to it and gain some popularity in it. What I think this is this is twice now that Zan's done this, where basically he has picked the best deck to bring for this format. It was an incredible meta pick. I think the deck has always been there, and I think the reason it didn't do great in set 8 or set 9 was that there were too many fast decks. The hardest part about this combo deck was dealing with the early game until you could get to the late game to just win with your combo. It also has a problem with single target removal. So, when cards like Hades and Be Prepared and Sisu with a million sapphire coils or these other things are in the game, then it's more risky. And I think Zan was like, well, look, the most of these decks are going to be Amethyst Steel, and they can't do nothing about this Monstro. There's nothing in their deck. I mean, they're going to need like 12 characters and 4 strengths. Like, it's just not happening. You look at Blurple decks, Sapphire Steel decks, they're going to potentially waste some of those removal targets on things like your genies, and or just other cards that are annoying and in the way. Or and you frankly are just, you just roll the dice and say, like, you either have it or you don't kind of deal. And there's just nothing fast enough really in the meta at all. So it made it an incredible sort of meta pick. I think a lot of people are going to play it, but as we'll probably talk about in a little bit here, I think there was another deck that emerged from CCS that makes Zan's deck almost unplayable if you fear that this deck is in your meta. It's a very hard matchup.
I can't wait to hear about it.
So one thing I will say, I think when you see in this deck here that strikes me as something else one reason why I think we see this being played now, especially in Whispers in the Well, is this Horseman Strikes card, which allows you to kind of answer some of these evasive cards that would have been more challenging to deal with previously. And you get to draw a card. So, it just kind of helps, replaces itself and takes out a target.
3 best words in Disney Lorcana: draw a card, right?
Yeah. Yep. We talked a lot about Hades looking for a deal, but I think in this deck in particular, it is perhaps one of the most dangerous places for it as your opponent, because this is a deck that you really don't want them to draw cards, because they inch ever so closer to their combo pieces to put together. And so, in general scenarios where you'd be like, fine, take the cards, I'd rather have the character on board, it almost forces your opponent to say, hey, actually, no, as much as I would love to keep this character on board, I value you not having as many cards in your hand. And so I think you typically, tend to think that strategy out a little bit more in favor of removing a character than the card draw, which you might in other matches.
It's a catch-22 though. It's catch-22. You're darned if you do, darned if you don't, because you have to race them, but you almost can't win the race because you can't really. Most of these decks get tricked into thinking they can go fast enough, like Amethyst Steel especially. We watched it twice on the broadcast. Zan just beat down these Amethyst Steel decks because they just could not go fast enough. And if you get even just one of those removed, well, now you really don't stand a chance, And if they already had the cards, then you really cooked yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a point in which you have to kind of think about it, but it's like, honestly, if you think about it, you give them more cards, you give them more opportunity to use something like Monstro to their advantage, to like clear your board, and I mean, if you think about it too, it's like they've got a lot of ways to refill their hand as is through the Great Illuminary. Zan is playing the Circle of Life to Junior Woodchuck Guidebook.
I mean, even Demona. Like, this is
Demona. Genie gives you a card when you play it, so you've got a lot of options here. And then Lantern, man, I really feel like if you can establish those lanterns early on, you can really just play things for free.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree. I think I don't know. I think there's probably a non-zero amount of games that Zan won because his opponent just was too busy like playing the game, turns 1 through like 6 or 7, somewhere in there. So like, the whole like genie battles and the Elsa, the evasive battles, and like the will they, won't they of the Hades. You demona them. Oh, they turn their board sideways, but like you're not really doing a ton. Like you don't have these hard hitting, your Calhouns, your Lexingtons. These cards are replaced with Hueys and Alanadales and Horseman Strikes, and then before they know it, Monstro. Oh well, that's cool. I'm at like 15 lore next turn. GG's, I just won the game like instantly. So it's I think there was at least a few games probably where Zan just, they were too busy trying to play the game that Zan wasn't playing. He was playing a different game. He was playing keep you busy until I can do this thing that just instant wins.
Yep. Any other thoughts on this deck? All right. So Andy, tell us a little bit about this deck. You think can take this deck down?
So we also saw this on stream. It was there were 2 of them in the top 16. I don't know if they were exactly the same, but Emerald, Amethyst. The one we saw on stream specifically was this, as I've said in my day before, degenerate aggro list. It is an aggro list, but it is really interesting. It's got 1 million 1-drops and 2-drops, mostly 1-drops, 28 1-drops, and 24 2-drops. It then has 4 white rows and 4 big webbies. So it draws a ton of cards with Show Me More and Amethyst Chromacon. It uses the new Enigmatic Inkcaster, the item that when you play 2 cards in a turn, you exert it and get a lore. And then it just plays a ton of 1-drops. Curse Merfolk. I've been trying out Fred. It plays Pegasus, Little Webby, and a Big Webby. So going second, even, you don't even have to ink for turn. You can ink from the Webby. And you get to this point of just like, locking your opponent out. Like you have the Inkcaster and you're just like, I'm going to play 2 cards every turn because I'm going to draw 3 cards every turn with my Chromacons, and then I'm going to play them out. And even if you remove them, I don't care. I just got like 2 or 3 free lore, plus the Honey Marins, the White Rose. Overall, this deck, I think, is fast enough to disrupt something like the combo. The Horseman Strikes, worthless against this. They're basically, they have no real
Pegasus.
Oh, the Pegasus. Oh boy, you spent 3 ink to get rid of my 1/1 Pegasus that is already quested 3 times.
We saw that Pegasus do work against Aiden because Spessy was
did.
running essentially this exact list on the LCCs against Aiden yesterday, and that Pegasus with no answer, immediate answer, Aiden couldn't do anything about it for several turns until he could establish a genie or get to the 5-drop for Elsa. But by the time you get to the 5-drop, that Pegasus has already quested 4 times, and so much more lore has been accumulated from the White Rose or the Webby or the Gathering, the Enigmatic Inkcaster that you've already mentioned.
Yep.
It's just absolutely insane how fast this deck is.
Yeah, that's a really cool card to see get used here.
The Inkcaster?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you like, sometimes you think like, oh no, they have like 3 of them in their hand. They definitely don't want that. And then they play like 2 in a turn, exert both of them, gain 2 lore, 4 ink, gain 2 lore. That's better than a goat in my book, And then they like, the other one is the Scrooge Shush Agent, which I don't know what that stands for, but I'm sure Chip will tell
Chip
me
does.
in Discord. He knows and he will explain it, I'm sure, and I will appreciate that very much. But what's great about that is the Scrooge turns off Calhoun, so Calhoun can never gain the 2 lore off the Scrooge because it goes back to your hand. And then when Scrooge goes back to your hand, well, you draw a card, even if you don't have the Chromacon. Now you got 2 cards. You play both of them. You turn sideways all of your ink casters. You gain a bunch more lore. So even if it doesn't stick, it sticks. And it's just a really darn stinking fast deck. And I don't know how. I haven't done a ton of testing, but I feel like it is fast enough to compete with how slow essentially this combo deck is. This combo deck is definitely meant to play against more curve based decks and not ones that are playing essentially 1-drop into 2 1-drops into like a 2-drop and a 1-drop into a bunch of items and draw. I mean, I've given my opponent so many cards. Don't care at all. Doesn't matter. You can have them all. You can't play them fast as I can. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's really true, because basically everything you're drawing, you can almost immediately play or likely shift.
And in the broadcast, they were even talking about how maybe the one person they were playing against, they had the Bend to My Will, and it was like, oh well, they could play Bend to My Will, and I'm like, my man, he's got 2 Chromacons out. You play Bend to My Will. He's drawing 3 cards next turn anyway, of which to play with. What does that do him? You just spend 7 ink doing nothing. Like that's, it's it is a very aggressive machine that just draws cards, throws cards out on the table, and says, "What are you gonna do about it?" Right? Like, there's also it shuts down Cheshire. There's like no strength on the whole board. I think we saw that with Spessy and Aiden playing. It was like, well, how are you going to get this Cheshire Cat online? He's got a 0-2, a 0-1, a 0-1, and a 0-4 on board. Like, what do you... Good luck.
Yeah. That's challenging. How, I mean, it seemed to do well if it's, made it to the top 16 here. But do you think this has pretty decent matchups against the other kind of dominant decks that we see in the format?
Yeah, it probably loses to like extra, like double strength, right? Like double strength is rough. I think it probably wipes the floor with any of the Blurples or Sapphire Steels that don't have like early game answers for things, because like if you don't play a character on 1 and they've played like Curse Merfolk into like Fred Curse Merfolk, it's like, oh, that's rough. Even the Finnick can be really nice too. Because you can go, if you go like Palace Guard and they go like Captain Hook or something like that, you can play something like Webby, the 1-drop Webby to boost your Palace Guard into their Captain Hook, or you can play like the Finnick to bounce back their Calhoun and just keep them off some of these other questers. So I think it does pretty decent into those. The deck is kind of hoping to get the right cards at the right time. It does really, really good at drawing though, with the Show Me More and the Chromacon. But I mean, it is a lot of it's an aggro deck, right? So it is playing that strategy of trying to go as fast as possible, and a lot of times you just don't care. You're just saying, okay, well, you have to take my stuff. I know you're going to. I know it's not a favorable trade for me, but I'll let you have it.
Yep.
Gathering Knowledge is such a stupid card. Just gain 2 lore.
Yeah,
oh my God, the amount of times that card has burned me is enough to just be like, get that out of here. I don't want to see that anymore.
I feel you, Brad, on that one. I had that happen at the DLC in Milwaukee. I was playing a game and I for sure thought I was going to win. And then they managed to quest to 18 and then played Gather Knowledge and Wisdom. And I was like, the one card you could have and you had it.
Kristen's been sneaking it, not so much lately, but at the beginning of the set was sneaking that into her Amethyst Steel, which is already a tough matchup. And then to see her just slap down a Gathering Knowledge to put her over, I'm like, get out of here. Get out of here, Kristen.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a Cobra you don't have to discard for.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It pays for itself in
I have seen the
especially in that comparison.
what is the Madrigal one? Draw one, game one. The
This
song.
Is My Family.
This is my family.
Or not this,
Look at my family.
No, This Is My Family.
This is my family. Whatever it is.
There's too many songs with family on them.
I've
but
seen
yes.
that. I think it's uninkable, so that's the downside.
Yeah.
But I've seen it swapped in. If you think about it, there's cards like Little John, Diablo, even to an extent, and Palace Guard are kind of just, even Pegasus, honestly, that are kind of just like one drops, right? Like you could swap them out for other 1 or 2 drops, really, as long as you're able to just reliably play 2 cards a turn to get that Incaster going, and then all of the cards that you're playing are like gaining you lore, drawing you cards, posing some sort of obstacle for your opponent.
I don't think you put This Is My Family in here. I think Gathering Knowledge is better because strictly, like you said, for the you could, but I think you have enough draw. Like you're trying to just play 2 cards a turn, and if you already have Chromacon established or Show Me More, you're getting those cards already. So I'd rather pay 2 ink for 2 lore than 2 ink for 1 card and one lore. I think because I'm going to get my draw elsewhere. When we talked about it being a song, I was like, well, I guess Honey Mare could sing it, but that's extremely like the only card I would want to sing. Maybe White Rose.
You don't really want to sing it because that's taking up a lore that it would already give. It's really just if you think about a card like the Little John or the Palace Guard or the Diablo, even the Finnick or the Pegasus in the later game, even the Scrooge, honestly, you are playing them and they're not gaining you a lore. And so if it's at a point where your opponent is abundant of cards and can remove most of your stuff, being able to instantly gain some sort of lore for it. So like you're probably going to be able to make it to 4 ink and you're going to be able to play 2 cost things, which is like, the most you're going to have to pay. And so like you play a Honey Marin that's 1 lore and you might get 1 more lore out of it if it survives, right? But This Is My Family is 1 lore and 1 card, which could be a Honey Marin, which gets you 1 more lore, or it could be a White Rose, or it could be, another This Is My Family. So guaranteeing that 1 lore, I think, has value to it to some extent. But I don't run it in my version. It's just one I've seen played, and I could make some arguments for, I guess. But
one thing I want to highlight about this deck here is that it is by far, well, maybe not by far, but it's easily the cheapest deck that was in the top 16.
It's like a $12 deck when Spessy played it.
Yeah,
it's like
for the views and the clickbait. I think maybe he had the $15 version, or I've seen. I don't know if Spessy was the originator of that, but I've seen the quote $15 budget version. The version I'm running does have Webby, Big Webby, which is like a $15 card. So 4 of those makes it a
that's why
$75 deck.
Yeah,
so it's
$75.
But yeah, every other card in the deck is Diablo is also a $1 card.
The next expensive card is Diablo Obedient Raven at $1.07.
All of them are like nickel cards.
Yeah,
get them out of the
I mean, when you compare it to say the Amethyst Steel deck, which is like $440-ish.
Zombies.
We're not talking about that deck this week. Tired of talking about it.
even the Amber Amethyst combo deck is $300-400 or so, because it also runs Demona, Hades. Genie is not a cheap card. Elsa isn't the cheapest. Elephant, Cheshire
Although
Cat's
Elsa's
going up in price.
Cheaper because of the gift set.
Well, I mean, it was until I went ahead and
bought them all. Oh, you're about to
God.
show me.
basically.
Oh look, yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
my
It's not
God.
as many as Lilo,
And
but
that's not including the ones that I have like 3 playsets
Yeah,
in
you
decks
probably
as
in
well.
your decks already. Yeah, I was gonna say
But
because
yeah,
the Lilo didn't really make it into a lot of decks,
yeah, there's
whereas
only, like,
this
one
is
playset
making
of
it into a
those,
lot of decks.
Yep.
So, but yeah. Well, so if we're I agree. Like we've really talked about Amethyst Steel quite a bit. Do we want to take a look here? So the 2 Amethyst Steels did round out the top 4. Jonathan Williams came in second, and Jonathan Lamb came in fourth. And then we had an Emerald Sapphire deck that was
Baja.
did you see Jonathan
top
Lamb's
4.
deck name?
Yeah. I
want to be Tiago.
Tiago. Tiago.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, and then we also had which we won't have to get totally into, but we had a CCQ in Italy that also happened this weekend. Stefano Zammangani, definitely mispronounced that. I apologize. Took it down with Amber Emerald, but we had DKP on Blurple, Simon Gallo on Sapphire Steel, and Alicio Ittori on Amber Emerald. And the top 16 here again, Amethyst Steel being the top deck. And then we had Amber Emerald, Sapphire, 2 Sapphire Steel, 2 Amethyst Sapphire, 2 Emerald Sapphire, 1 Amethyst Emerald, and 1 Amber Steel deck.
Amber Steel is kind of wild.
Yeah, I agree.
Before,
it is kind of a wild one.
Before we move on, I do want to shout out Jacob Noel is the player who made, I believe they were 8th place as they finished at CCS that was playing the aggro Emerald Amethyst list that we were talking about there. I do want to give them a shout out so they get credit for that. Also, 91% on the spiciness meter on Ink Deck. I have yet to get a like scientific breakdown, like the white paper, if you will, on how the spiciness meter is calculated. Zan, by comparison, got a 76% on his spiciness meter. I want to be Tiago. Jonathan Lamb got a 17% spiciness, so not very spicy in that case. But this Jacob Noel's Amethyst Emerald is as spicy as they come,
For sure. So I mean, honestly, I think what both of these tell us is that Amethyst is definitely the color
best ink color in
although we did
Lorcana.
say that making up potentially Emerald though, doing pretty well here. Are you at all surprised that we didn't see any Sapphire Steel at CCS, but we did see 2 in the CCQ? Are you surprised we didn't see more of that deck do well?
No, it's a bad deck.
I knew.
Next
Andy's
question.
response immediately. I'm a little surprised, but
yeah,
Okay.
I'm a little surprised given how well it has. We've seen it start to do in some tournaments.
I think it is a very, very high rolly deck, and I think it's too much of a high roll, which is why we don't see it do consistently better, and why we don't see more top tier players playing it. Which is another reason why we don't see it doing better, because other top tier players who are the ones consistently making day 2 and top cuts at these events have decided they want to play a different deck. I don't know. I just like I feel like Sapphire Steel players need to go back into their caves and wait. It's not your turn yet. Still, right? It's not good. Stop coping.
They're just. I mean, they're trying to get that deck to be as good as before the Fortisphere and Hiram ban.
Yeah, it was good for like 2 weeks.
That was me. I've got a timer on for buying the tickets.
Buy
the
tickets. Should we take
a
break?
Yeah.
It's 1 minute, bro. It's 1 minute. Did you get your tickets, Vince?
I did get it.
Hooray!
yeah. ROV in Australia. ROV down under, mate. You better be wearing that jersey the whole time. You got zebra cakes. Let's go.
Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Christmas trees. I love the Christmas trees so much.
We should get sponsored.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Success, guys! I got the tickets. I got a ticket for the DLC in Melbourne, Australia.
Hey!
I am
Nice.
super excited.
Congrats.
But you do know what this means, Andy, is our segment where we just talked about the fact that we'll be stopping play testing of normal core construct after the DLC in Richmond.
Right.
That after that can't happen because I got a whole DLC to now prep for Winter Spell down under.
ROV down under, mate.
Do you know? So wait,
Now that's a deck.
are you gonna dress Australian when you go down there for the DLC? Because
We ever learn how to dress Australia?
you gotta fit in, right? You gotta fit in there.
That's a deep cut ROV.
That's
reference.
very deep cut. That honestly, I think that reference. It goes back like 7 months now, 6 months.
All the way back before Gen Con, pre-Gen Con.
Yeah, Gen Con time. So
But
if you want to know more about that, go listen to those episodes. But yeah, I'm excited. So it does mean I'm gonna have to test and get some Winter Spell product to test.
did it say which is it Winter Spell? Did it say it's Winter Spell meta?
Well, it should be Winter Spell meta because it's in February, right?
Yeah, but are they caught up?
Winter Spell.
Are they all caught
When
up
is-
to us?
I think Australia is caught up.
Okay.
I think it's like Japan and China that have not fully caught up.
They're
I think
almost
they're
caught
actually
up.
getting pretty close to caught up.
Singapore
Because
wasn't.
I'm always very
Singapore
tempted.
was at 10. It was.
Yeah. Because I'm always very tempted to try to buy Japanese Lorcana, and then import it back to the United States. But we got these things called tariffs in the United States.
I was just about to say tariffs get you, huh?
yeah,
Tell
tariffs
them
really
tariffs.
get you. They really get you. So I've never decided to buy them. So all I've got are first chapter and
There's
Bloodborne Japanese.
there's some
packs.
stores in the US here that have had them. I mean, I know Fortuna has had. I think they had the first chapter Japanese packs for a short period of time, and I think Impact Gaming has some first chapter Japanese still lying around.
But I don't think I've seen anybody have anything
nothing.
Inklands on.
Yeah, but let's be real. Who wants Inklands on, right? Like, they're not exactly the most sought after sets, if you will.
But yeah, I think
That'll be interesting.
I want to say Japan and China are now at Shimmering Skies, or maybe just at Azurite Sea.
Yeah, I feel like Azurite Sea sounds right, but yeah, that'll be really interesting if it is a core constructed DLC with Winter Spell essentially. That would be really interesting. We'll probably have it'll probably be similar to Infinity, where it's really hard to read the metagame because we won't have a large set of data. I don't have the calendar in front of me for like other events that are in that same time span, but if you were to go full Zan on it, you'd probably have the opportunity to be able to brew something extra spicy.
Well, and not to forget, there is they had the Auckland, New Zealand CCQ kind of, or like, what do they call it? It wasn't a DLC. It was like
There's a DLC
like
qualifier. I think if you won, you didn't. Yeah, if you won, you got a free ticket to the DLC, basically.
And I think you get like a round one buy or something.
A buy that would be insane. But I'm not a fan of buys in surprising. But I hope for the sake of whoever won that they get a VIP ticket to to
a whole other thing too is they've got these
Australia.
VIP tickets combos here, so you could buy
They'll get
all sorts of
any
prizing
sucker with a deep wallet to be able to buy one of them VIP
The
tickets.
V, the V in VIP stands for Vince, baby.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, they got me. I
Vince-
did buy the
Vince-
VIP package. What can I say?
ROVIP, baby.
Vince 0-3 eating the olive off of his martini in the VIP lounge right before round 4. Like,
and this is
yes, throw another shrimp
and
on the
this is-
bobby, please, for me.
and this is where I say, please go to the link below to our Patreon that is not existent.
Oh, DKP's waiting on me. He can wait.
In other unrelated news, Vince has started a GoFundMe for his trip to Australia. The only reason I could never go to Australia is because like 20 hours on an airplane or something like that. It's just like
an obscene amount. Honestly,
I just can't
the
be
most
trapped
expensive
in that cramped little space. I'd have to buy like first class, and those are like 10 grand for first class. Oh no, can't do it.
The most expensive part of my trip to Australia thus far is the flight.
It always is. Flying anywhere is always like I always hear people talking about going to like Japan and stuff. Japan Disney is like half the price of US Disney. Like food in a lot of these other countries is incredibly well priced, like goes a long way. My sister travels all around the world. South Korea, like Eastern Europe and stuff like that, all kinds of cool places. And she's always like, it's so cheap. We get to do everything we want. We live like kings over there. And, you know, it's like great. And the plane ticket is like $3,000 for just to get over there. And you're like, well, I could go to Disney World for that amount. Brother.
Yeah, it's not too bad to go to Europe. You can find generally pretty decent prices, but Australia is hard. It's I mean, it's an island all to them own. But you know, join us on our next podcast within a podcast, ROV Travels.
Well, you guys will have to make sure
you've heard of Rick Steves. Have you heard of Villain Vince and Villain Auntie's sister?
You gotta subscribe because you heard Vince. He's gonna do some recording and filming down there. We'll have to get him on. He'll probably have to wake up at like 3 a.m. to record with us to be on the podcast. But be sure to like.
God, I didn't even think about that. You're right. It probably will be because the tickets. So it's not like it's 10 o'clock where we are to buy them, but it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon there.
Yeah, so then it'll be like early. It'll be like late morning when we record. It's fine.
But I should say, I think it's 3 o'clock.
We could see Vince spill coffee on himself while he's doing the podcast
live.
I am actually very excited about that because Melbourne apparently has like some of the best coffee in the world. Some of the best like cafe shops in the world.
Columbia be like, what?
Well, they grow coffee. Australia doesn't grow coffee. You've got coffee.
And then you've got growing it would make you have some of the best coffee, right?
We got plenty of time to talk about Melbourne.
Beans of Villainy.
Yeah, we do. We do. You're right. So we're getting very close to the DLC in Richmond, and we've also got set champs come up for Whispers in the Well. What decks have you decided that you want to play? What have we landed on?
Nothing yet.
Good, Andy.
Yeah,
I think
same. Still testing.
Yeah, I was very, very confident in Amethyst Steel, but unfortunately, Zan had to go and ruin that because I really don't know that there's an answer in Amethyst Steel for that combo deck. You're just very, very helpless. You'd have to go way too fast and compromise the structure of the deck way too much. So I think it's gonna revolve a little bit around how the meta shapes out, how many people try the combo, have success on it, feel like they're going to play it. How I don't know if we have any other events. I want to say there was a PPG Orlando event on
that's this weekend.
That's this weekend, an Infinity weekend. So we'll get a little glimpse of that. I don't know if there's anything over the holiday season, so we might have this like really weird, dark, gloomy, overcast area of the season where we just like don't get any data. any data points. I imagine locals will be very barren. And so it's really rough. It's really hard.
We just need to ask Santa Claus for the answer.
Yeah.
That's what I want in a
Well,
box.
I just asked him. I just skipped ahead. I asked him for a Worlds invite. So we'll just cut out all the middleman nonsense.
Yeah.
But I do think. I think if the DLC was happening like right now, like this coming weekend, I would probably play Amethyst Steel, and I'd probably just hope for the best when it comes to matchups. I don't know.
That's what you do anyway, right?
Yeah,
Like-
ideally you find a deck that is like that was the reason I loved Rumi Amethyst so much back in its heyday, was because it had such a very even matchup spread that no matter who I was sitting down against, I felt confident that if I mulligan for altered for these cards and played a solid, good game of Lorcana with proper decision making, that I had a chance of beating them essentially no matter what they were playing.
Yeah.
And I feel like Amethyst Steel is the closest to that right now, with the big asterisk being that this combo deck, I think, just I haven't played a ton of games, but I've ran through the scenarios in my head a few times, and I've watched several games on stream. It doesn't seem good for Amethyst Steel. I don't know how that deck wins against the combo deck, really.
I think
you gotta be very lucky.
I think the answer there, though, is like I think the answer you have, though, is to take Amethyst Steel is right, because I think by and large, most of the opponents that are going to net deck Zayan, this deck, are probably not like it's not a straightforward deck, in my opinion, to necessarily play.
See,
it's not hard, but I think it's one of those decks that like you kind of gotta know what you're doing, and this is why it's like this weekend, you would stick with Amethyst Steel. I think people get some practice testing into this, they might get better at this deck, and so we might actually see it do even better in Richmond than just after one weekend in the next set. But I think it's one of those decks I'd say this: if you're thinking about playing this deck, which honestly, like you should play a lot of these decks, because even if you're not going to play it, at least you'll get an idea of what those lines of play are. But is that if this is the deck you want to take, or whatever deck you want to take, you should practice that deck a lot.
Well, for one, I think that goes for whatever deck you're playing. You should definitely practice. Definitely practice a lot. I actually, we'll go ahead and bait people in. I started Twitter beef about this exact topic, and I think it spilled over to Facebook even as well. So if you see any angry comments from ROV Andy, that's your boy. It's okay. But I think like actually one of them was on Brad's meme. Brad had a hot meme earlier this week. And people were like, oh, Zan's so good, he played this deck, it's his deck, he's amazing. And look, Zan's meta call here, I already said it earlier in the podcast, was just like top tier, and he's done it twice now. He did it earlier with the Jafar wheel.
Yep.
Great meta call. This deck, though, I think is pretty basic. I think it's not difficult. It's not like, oh, I have to have so many lines of practice and stuff. It takes a lot of thinking and a lot of work to build the deck and decide that this is the right one for your meta. But when it comes to playing the deck, you have one thing in mind. Like, that's it. Just do the combo. It is not a ton of decision points. You're playing the cards that are dealt to you, and chances are they're pretty good. It's not like one of these Sapphire lists where we see, look at the top 5 cards, pick one. Look at the top 2, pick one. Ink one, pick one. Like all these decision points that can alter the outcome of the game so much. it has a very, very, very straightforward win condition. And sometimes it just, because the cards before the combo are so good, it just wins. You're just like questing because they can't do anything. And you're like, oh, well, I guess 2 genies and, a Cheshire Cat was enough to just like win the game on my own. I didn't need the combo. Um, I think it's relatively simple. It does have some room for skill expression. Again, I'll give some credit to Zan because there was the one game we watched where he had the proper thought to be like, okay, my out is potentially under my Cheshire Cat. And so he stopped doing the combo midway through, bounced his Cheshire Cat, and sure enough, there was the answer he needed. Finished up his combo, had the card, won the game because of it. And I was like, that's skill expression. Like, you can't, that's where Vince, what Vince said comes into play a lot. You can't just pick up the deck and like, you'll probably make those kind of minor mistakes.
Yeah.
But as far as game plan goes, this deck is pretty straightforward.
Go on, Brad.
I was gonna say, and I think Zan would agree with you. If anybody listens to the Club Lorcana podcast they just dropped this week, they talked all about this deck, and he said explicitly, like, he wanted to. He's eliminated all these extra things that, like, this decision making, just like outside of the game as well, like his dice and his play mat. I think he said he didn't even play on a play mat because of he left it at a table before or whatever. He's like, anything that is like a decision point is gone. I'm very much paraphrasing here. Definitely check that out. But like Andy said, I posted this meme and this one guy immediately jumped on and was like, we shouldn't discredit Zan. I'm like, that was not the intention at all. Like, I was just making a joke about this deck existed 2 sets ago. Zan perfected it. Zan made a perfect meta call and is the kind of player that can take this deck to that kind of event and make it work like that. And I wanted to jump in about the decision point thing that Andy was saying, because that him talking about it on the podcast was a really big, like, information bomb on why he chose it and everything. And I wanted to encourage people to go check that out if you really want to get into the mind of the player who played this deck.
Yeah. I think the only thing I would just say is that I would be somewhat careful about combo decks to understand, like, some of these like just thinking through the combo to make sure you're doing it right, to get it to the execution. And that could take some skill in all of these. Some combos are easier than others. And it's very easy, I think, in this particular deck to make a mistake in the combo piece.
And that was something that Garrick and JDZ talked about on their stream the other day as well, as like, whenever they get to that place where you have to do the combo, like, make them do the combo because it can be messed up. There is a possibility that they discard the wrong card or something in the rapid succession of doing the whole discard, draw, discard, ready, blah blah blah. And
well, they can always take it back though, Brad.
But so. that's what.
Well,
you're right. I forgot.
I will say at CCS they told them that they weren't going to follow that rule, I believe.
No take backs. Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, no take backs.
Which I thought was surprising since it was a CCQ, but as the rules are written right now, there's nothing about take backs in it. So CCQ or CCS went strictly by the written rules.
And I'll just say, Ravensburger Judge Program, when? Question mark.
I actually got a chance to talk with Coop a little bit at DLC Milwaukee, and what I could take from that was that the decision to allow takebacks in Milwaukee was largely based on the fact that takebacks were allowed in was it Bologna or whatever the DLC was.
So it may be something they don't do going forward.
Right. So it's not necessarily something that they are like deciding to like push forward with as like the main way to do it. It's that they were largely like, well, they did it there, so we kind of have to mirror that so that it's as similar as possible to the other one. But yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. I can't think. We were talking about the combo. Yeah. There's big drama on Twitter again. Big drama on Twitter where people are talking about basically the last game of the CCQ where Jonathan passed to Zan. and Zan just kind of showed him that he had the piece for the combo, and Jonathan scooped. Or I don't actually, maybe he didn't scoop. Maybe they went through it, but the discussion is about what if your opponent scoops there, or do you scoop there, or do you just show the piece to your opponent and try and encourage them to scoop there or whatever? And there were some people who made some, in my opinion, toxic comments about like, well, I have no problem showing my opponent the combo and hoping that they scoop, even though I might not actually have the ability to do the combo, right? Like just try and trick them into scooping, which I think we're all pretty obviously against that sort of deception type part of the game.
For sure.
But yeah, absolutely make them go through the combo. And I've seen it in, I believe it was in Magic the Gathering. There was at least one instance, maybe two, in like streamed games in like pro tour event, like important games, where a person started to do a combo essentially, and the other person was like, "Ah, yeah, you got it," and they scooped. And in those instances, that person had essentially forgotten to put that card in their deck. It was like a one of, and the combo was like, play this card, then play this card to search your deck for that other card, and then when you play that with this, you just like win.
Yeah.
And they were like, all right, I have this one, I have the search card, and they're like, yeah, you just win the game. And he was like, whew, because that is in my sideboard. I forgot to put it in my deck for this game.
Sideboard. Oh my
Right,
god.
because of
Yeah,
sideboards and stuff.
that-
So it
that's
doesn't exist in Lorcana, but like always make them go through the combo, because you never know, they might not have it.
Yep.
Yeah. So we got a little off track here. So Andy, you're still testing. Brad, what about you? Still testing through things?
I haven't. I haven't been
Amber.
playing. It's what I've been playing, but I haven't played. I was going to say haven't been playing anything, on the serious competitive level of, I've been having a lot of fun, as we talked about last week with Ruby Amber, Simba deck, and it did its thing. I had a great multiplayer game this past Monday night at game night, and just the deck is fun when it works. But and it can hang with the big dogs sometimes, but most of the time not. So it's one of those things where, like, when you were asking what we were going to play in Richmond, which just frighteningly so close, like less than a month away. I honestly don't know. Like, I feel like I should take that, but ultimately I'd probably just fall back on some version of Blurple or something, because that's what I'm comfortable playing at that level. But I need to start also grinding. And then this timing with the holidays and everything, I haven't been able to actually sit down, go to a competitive league often. Like, I'm probably not going to make Bodax again this week either. This week's even just Infinity, so it doesn't matter. But I haven't felt like I've been able to put the time in to play competitively, and I've been watching a lot more people play and talking about competitive play a lot more than actually playing it myself. But I'm the kind of person, I got to do the reps, so
well,
who knows?
I've heard that Mrs. Mayer has started on her journey for questing and challenging to the top tables. So
we were
maybe brag us a little extra testing bump in there. Just saying.
I should have brought that up at the start of the episode. Actually, that's a good opener. But no, yeah, we were at a friend's house, and they were both interested in learning how to play. I was there playing other games, and they're like, "Hey, teach me Lorcana," and I was like, okay. So taught two other people. It was Emily's second time playing, and we played with some of the single player decks and had a lot of fun with it. So who knows? Maybe it's the start, but I'm not going to push it.
Brad hands out a couple puppy location starter decks, and then whips out his Ruby Simba deck, and he's like, all right, let's learn Lorcana.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I get a daily dose though of the Mrs. Mayer on TikTok with their pin trading videos.
Oh, good. I'm glad you watched it. She'll love to hear that.
But
yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. Yeah, Ruby Simba's I guess the play right now.
Roomba.
Roomba. That'll probably change. What about you, Vince?
Yeah, I mean, I was really liking Ruby Amethyst, but it's one of those. It's like it's been a roller coaster ride. It's like I think it's good. Is it there? and then it's not there. And I think I've
Well-
ultimately settled that like it's not a bad deck, but I don't think it's the best deck or close to the best deck, and I think it has a lot of challenges in this meta, particularly in a meta that's dominated by Amethyst Steel. And so as a result of that, like I started to play Amethyst Steel again, which is a deck that I played a lot in Fabled. But I'm open to see what else happens, and there's other decks I want to try out as well. But I'm probably the most familiar, with playing Amethyst Steel of the decks that are of the decks that are not Ruby Amethyst.
Just gotta hope you don't see the
No.
just hope you don't see the combo deck, and you'll be good. Speaking of the combo deck, though, Vince, our favorite segment, everyone's favorite segment.
Yes. Villain of the week.
Oh,
I know. Here's the thing. I'm using a lapel mic.
the microphone's still
this
broken.
Mic not working, so I can't use the fancy thing I've got to do the effect.
Need more. The people need more.
I know people.
Everybody
actually,
just tuned out.
Here's the thing. I have the effect recorded, and I can't. It's actually in our. It's in our Google Drive. So Andy could just grab it and add it.
It should be on our soundboard here in the Discord.
So comment down below if you prefer Vince to do the demonic villain of the week voice, and if you love it so much, maybe you will artificially edit it into the episode.
Yeah, I'm hopeful to get it all working at some point. But
all right, let's talk about
when you
this
buy
villain.
that Windows machine. Anyway, the villain of the week, Brad.
Apologies to Gantu, and shout out to our friend Jake, because it's whale time. We have Monstro, infamous whale. He is an 8-cost inkable storyborn character in Amethyst, 6/8 with Rush, Quest for 2, and the ability Full Breach. Choose and discard a card. Ready this character. He can't quest for the rest of the turn.
6/8.
This card. That's not how it goes.
All right. Well, let us know your thoughts on Villain of the Week if you're joining us.
This guy who drops a 6/7 in our cold open last week. Get out of here. This card was debuted a couple sets ago as he set 8, right? Where he was like the blurple, like wide board wipe, where you could just ready him up, assuming that you have cards in any Amethyst deck, which gets you so many cards. I know, quote unquote.
Board wipe.
But he comes out, readies up, assuming things are exerted. You got Demona to exert everything now, but you're not playing them both on the same turn. I don't know why I used that there, but
14 ink combo. This 14 ink combo wins you every Lorcana game.
Let's talk about why he's villain of the week, though.
That's when you're playing a card like Friends Like Me in Infinity.
Putting this card on board with the Great Illuminary just wins. Like you have the other combo pieces, but like you could just keep readying them up and discarding to go through your entire deck to find the pieces for that combo. Did we ever talk about the entire combo? I think we should probably do that to give a full.
They probably know, but it uses the card We Know the Way as well as the card Alanadale with Monstro and the Great Illuminary or Donald Duck. So you play the Monstro. That's like the pivotal turn. You play the Monstro. It's a check. You put your opponent in check. You pass the turn, and you say, "Do something about it. Do something about it." All right. I'm Monstro in here. If they remove the Monstro, big sad. If they don't, however, the next turn you play either Donald Duck, which gives everyone the ability to exert to draw a card, or you play the Great Illuminary. Play the Great Illuminary, you move the Monstro into the Great Illuminary. Now it can exert to draw a card. That's the ability you needed. In theory, you could have a Dumby and give Monstro evasive. Yeah, that would actually, and you actually gain lore a little faster, right? Because of the extra gain lore ability, but you have to pay for it now that I think about it. So
evasive.
We're getting off track here. I apologize. Yeah, I apologize. So you exert it, draw a card. You can now discard that card and then ready it back up and do it over and over and over and over again. And the goal is, at the end of this, you will have 2 We Know the Ways left in your hand with 0 cards in your deck whatsoever. You will then play one of the We Know the Ways to grab the Alanadale from your discard, put it on the top of your deck, which has 0 cards in it, shuffle your deck. It's only 1 card. And then you say the name of a card. And if that's the top card of your deck, well, you get to play it for free. Guess what? It was the only card in your deck. So you get your Alanadale for free. Then you use the second We Know the Way, and you target the other We Know the Way in your discard. Then you say, I bet it's a We Know the Way. Sure enough, it is. And you do that over and over and over and over and over and over again. Each time gaining a lore from the Alanadale, which says whenever you play a song, gain 1 lore. There's a number of like nuances to it, little tricks to it. Like I said, you need to have 2 We Know the Ways. I believe We Know the Way can't target itself because it's not in the discard yet. Although there's some debate to that. I actually don't know that that's true now that I say it. Let me know in the comments if that's true, if We Know the Way can target itself. But you do need to get the Alanadale into play. If you put it under a Cheshire Cat, you're kind of screwed. Gotta bounce that back. Yep. Couple of these oddities here, but the biggest and most important key thing once you have the combo ready in your hand is Monstro has to survive at least 1 turn. So
Yep.
He is very monstrous when you play him. You just kind of look at that like
anything that's exerted too. He comes out with rush and he's a 6/8, so he's pretty much just deleting
6/8.
it when he comes out. And if you're worried about somebody challenging back into it, like in a steel filled meta, just ready him back up with a discard. So I mean, there are other ways to get rid of him, especially if there's damage left on him as well. But he's just a beefy whale that comes barreling in at you and then does a lot more fun things in this particular deck. So
yeah, and he's a very difficult character to remove for a lot of decks.
Oh yeah.
And even if you can remove him, I mean, with the exception of I think like arguably probably Blurple has the easiest way to remove him.
Or Sapphire
because of Hades or Sapphire.
Any Sapphire deck plays Hades,
But also
Baja.
Blurple has
Into the Unknown.
Too,
Yeah.
so.
Baja has like bounce cards though as well. I mean, it doesn't do as great with the rush, but it single target removal is really what's needed.
But yeah, so that is so when you're looking like we've talked about the dominant deck, you need what? You need 8 characters to sing Strength of a Raging Fire to take it off the board. Or
I mean, with Amethyst Steel, that's possible. You guys just flood the board with all your 3 drops. That why not?
Maybe.
Doc will get you 2 more.
It can be.
It's not a consistent, reliable answer, though, to this Monstro.
Right.
Especially if this Monstro, which in combination with cards like Huey or Lantern, is coming out before turn 8.
Right.
So you haven't had time to go fast enough. You haven't had time to build up a big enough board. You also were dealing with Genies, Elsas, Demonas, all of these turns prior. So, at least in the combo deck, right?
The Lantern really makes this kind of nasty because, now, like you say, all these kind of like cheating cards to be able to pay things
I didn't get to say
and less.
I didn't get to say it earlier. Lantern, when we were on actually talking about the deck, I've been having like a full epiphany in my Ruby Simba deck of how good Lantern is, and forgot how good it was with getting that out. Like
literally, it's week 1. I'm watching you in a top deck battle at game night, and I'm like, what, Brad? Lantern would be really good in that deck. I told you, because nobody's playing item hate. Lantern is reusable. Every time I watch you use a Pluto or a Huey, one of those Amethyst Steel or something board based, just swung right into it and took it out. And
most of the time, it was. We don't have to get into it. Most of the time, as a bodyguard.
You're trying to, and then you got to put the Raja in there. But they strengthened the Raging Fire that Raja.
But also,
Brad, and then they swung their Calhoun into your Huey.
You're right.
You
did.
Lantern's also not a card that's going to bring item hate into the game either.
And
Well,
so it's
my
just like-
lantern got Judy Hopps on Monday night. Judy Hopps from set 2. Can you believe that? I got to draw a card from it, but I was like, what set are we in? Set 10. And my lantern got Judy Hopps.
All right, like Infinity may be a little different.
But it's also a Sail the Asteroid Sea though, because you can play Lantern, use Lantern the same turn, and play another 1-drop character. So in something like this combo deck, you're playing, Rafiki or Royal Guard on 1, and then you're playing a Lantern and another one of them potentially on 2. Then you have a chance. Your board is fine. On 3, you refill your hand with a Junior Woodchuck guidebook, and you're on your way to this Monstro, which is going to, scare your opponent into scooping early, potentially.
Andy, we also didn't even talk about with the Cheshire Cat to be able to move damage
from the Monstro.
Yeah, from the Monstro. So
he holds the most damage for sure.
Yeah, it's honestly like just kind of gross. And but honestly, I'll tell you what, this was Ron was playing a variant of this deck tonight at Fortuna, and I ended up winning both games. But partly
get good, Ron. Jeez.
No. Ron. In fairness to Ron, he just did not get the combo pieces in the right order, and if he had them in the right order, he would have won game at game 2, and then we would have gone to game 3. Then
he would
Ron, I will say
this, in game 3 too, for
is,
sure.
Is definitely a better player than I am. But what I wanted to say is that it was a really, even if I wanted him to do well, because it was such a fun, looked like a fun deck to play. It was a fun deck to play against even and stuff. It's he would play We Know the Way to bring a card back and try to see it's to play the gamble on whether or not you're gonna get a card. And so it's just I think this deck is really fun, and that Monstro really and adding that with the Lantern. Ron got all 4 Lanterns in game 1.
Sheesh.
And I was like, my God, stop.
That's brutal.
So how about this artist? Alexandria Nianakis, right?
Yeah.
What
9
else they
cards
got?
in the game, 1 enchanted, and that enchanted baby is the Enchanted Scar from the set championships. One of my prized possessions, my crowning achievement in this game is winning.
Yeah.
Is that this
so
one?
happy for that. It's that one. Yes, sir.
Let's go.
The next biggest card that everybody is familiar with is Maui Half Shark. So
Maui Shark.
not only is it whale time, it is shark time or Maui time as well. But yeah, Treasure Guardian, Huddy Marin, we talked about a little bit tonight.
Yep.
But yeah, great little library there, and we'll have a link in the description to their Instagram or whatever source they host their illustrations on.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, before we start the intro, we do want to let you know that we are doing a live episode. It is December 26th.
Yes.
At what time?
6 p.m. Central Time, December 26th, the day after Christmas. You guys are all home hanging out with your new
opening
gifts.
presents.
Your presents are already opened. You're putting batteries in them. You're testing them out. Maybe you got a nice new reclining.
Do you think still have batteries in them?
I don't know.
Isn't everything rechargeable now?
Maybe you got a new reclining chair. You sit back, get a hot cup of eggnog, and watch the Rules of Villainy 2025 Holiday Special Extravaganza Spectacular.
Spectacular. Yep.
We have gifts. There will be gifts. A tree with gifts all wrapped up.
We're giving out prizes.
Special guests. There's more than I can count. Don't take that as much. I can't count that high. And as well as fun games and activities, which even you in the audience can participate in.
Yeah, and they can watch where, Andy?
It is on our YouTube at Rules of Villainy, where you're hopefully watching this right now. Excuse me.
We'll have a link in the description below as well.
Awesome.
But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm excited. I can't wait. And we'll see you there on December 26th. But let us know your thoughts on this week's Villain of the Week. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you're joining us on audio, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.
And if you're joining us on YouTube, which if you're not, you really should. So we have a lot of fun over here. So be sure to hit that like, the subscribe, ring the bell, Deck Test Tuesday, Meta Report, the 25 Days of Villainy Advent, Villain Vince attempting and failing every day to pull a enchanted. We've got it all over here. And the live stream that we just talked about. Be sure to come hang out.
And we understand your time is valuable, so we appreciate you spending some of it with us. If you would like to follow along as we plot our devious plans, consider following us on our socials. We're on Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, and the platform formerly known as Twitter @Rules of Villainy. And we also have a growing community on Discord, which you can join with the link below.
And until next week, stay safe, fellow villains. Be wary of wannabe heroes who want to disrupt your villain's plans. And as always, remember the rules of villainy.